I would like to thank Renu Khator. Thank you so much. And we will start question and answer session, but I would like to remind you that she has another appointment, and she is a little late. So,
Okay.
okay, so we can start questions. Yes.
Well, my name is Bill Monroe, and I'm Dean of the Honors College at the University of Houston. So I was moved by many of the things that you said. And one of the things I think universities have done in the past, and we're not doing now, but I think that we marketed ourselves as, you talked about that dichotomy between the public good and the private good. And for many, many years, mainly what I heard universities saying was, if you get a college degree, you can increase your income by this much. And it was very appealing to individuals who wanted to increase their income by this much. But I didn't hear universities talking, as you have been, about the common good, about the regional good, about the city, about the state, about the global economy. Do you think this is a change that is going to catch on other places, and we're going to hear this kind of rhetoric, I hope, for a while? Are we going to go back to the feather your own nest rhetoric that we used for so long?
Well, I certainly hope, and I think many places are doing that. Universities have always been, they're supposed to be part of the community. And the important thing is the realization that universities can build themselves. Communities build universities. And therefore, after I came here, my pitch has been going to the community and saying, this is what is the gap for the city of Houston or the region. And I think it has really helped, because Greater Houston Partnership has made University of Houston stop-year funding as their #1 legislative priority. And the Greater Houston Partnership leadership has been in Austin, right next to me, giving testimonies and making appeal, because they realize that other cities where you have public top-tier universities bring in about $1 billion every year in federal research. I said, look at this, $900 million left on the table. And I think that does have appeal. But at the same time, I also believe it's not just economic development that we keep talking about. It's the human development. There's an element of it which is the soul and your mind and your thought process. And all of that has to be taken into consideration. And that's why I'm so proud of our arts and our social sciences, our humanities, our education, because you can't have those areas be here either.
Chancellor Jim Myers, Grays Oaks Management District, welcome to our district. Obviously, we're very pleased that the Churchill Center has been here, and we welcome you too. A question with talking about access, and certainly in our area here, what are you doing about tuition in these difficult times where we want our adults and our high school graduates to have access to University of Houston, certainly to HCC also. But what is the university doing?
Well, all the chancellors, I won't take credit just for the University of Houston, but all of the chancellors in the state of Texas, we have all appealed together to the legislature that there is a funding formula that determines how much investment is needed to teach one student. And just so that you know the comparison nationally, if you take a look at Tier 1 universities, and not even the very top of Tier 1, just the bottom of the Tier 1 universities, the average funding is $11,000, roughly little over $11,000 per student. The funding here in the state of Texas is little over $5,000 per student. There is a funding formula, which I don't think is accessible, but never is that funding formula given fully. Generally, they fund it 65%. We have requested to the legislature that if you can fund the funding formula, we do not have any wish to raise tuition. I mean, our hope would be, don't raise any tuition. The reason tuition has to be raised is if we find that we are going to sacrifice the quality, that's the time we say, well, do we sacrifice the quality, or do we actually go and see that whether students can take? Even if we charge more tuition, we have a policy 20% of it immediately goes into the need-based scholarship. From every dollar that we collect, 20 cents goes immediately to make sure we fill for those students who are having hard time in paying for their tuition. We have what is called Cougar Promise. Any family whose annual income is $30,000 or less, we don't charge any tuition at all. It's a complete free education for them. And we are also launching a scholarship, doubling the scholarship campaign so that we can get the private sector to come and help it here. And we don't have to really put a burden on students. Yes.
I was wondering, I went to UT, so I'm a Longhorn, but I have a lot of love for the Cougars. When I went to UT, I wanted to major in international relations, but they didn't have that program. And then I was reading some stuff about A&M and how they cut their journalism program. So these are programs where like these major institutions draw people there, but they're not able to provide that. So does U of H look at that and think, okay, well maybe we'll strengthen these programs here so we can get these students to come?
Well, UT is a good school too. I like it. Okay. But that's a very good point. We just draw from very different markets. What UT has, we can have the same degrees and it would be fine. So we don't look at it because it is not at UT, we should have it. Could be one consideration. What we try to see is in what way can we serve our region very well and what way can we serve this state. So we are constantly looking at different kinds of degrees that we are approving. If that happens to be a degree, there's an interest for it, I'm sure we can definitely think about it and have it.